Um, so, okay. I'm trying to think about how I can explain it. So, whenever I'm channeling so before I got into meditation and all of that, and once I had kind of started this practice and learning and gaining knowledge about this or whatever, I had found that I was operating in a wounded masculine dynamic. And many women are, in the sense of, because the way feminism and all that, it's kind of put us in a spot where we're kind of like in this rock and a hard place, where it's like we're in our masculine energy, where we're overdoing, overcompensating, doing too much to prove ourselves, when we don't really need to do any of that, but just be who we are. But the way we're raised and stuff like that really puts us in a situation that triggers our self-worth as women. And it's kind of subconscious how it's done. And it's those little things when we're little girls, where they're told, act like a lady, you have to share, you have to obey, you have to be good. If you're a good girl, right, everything will be fine. So these are the messages that those are the messages that we kind of get. And they're they're meant to protect us. It's the same thing. Like, it's like if for me, at least, it was always, because I grew up in Catholic school and stuff like that, everything was guilt, shame, everything was a sin. And so all that was put on me to carry, right? So, and that affected my self-worth, where I felt like I was always being judged, or I was gonna go to hell, or I was Satan's daughter if I misbehaved or I did anything crazy. So all these kind of things that we get, these messages that we get when we're young, build this foundation within us that we have to kind of overcome as we're journeying through life and evolving and growing. And so for the divine masculine, I know from my aspect, before I even knew what was happening, I realized that I was operating from a wounded masculine sense, where I didn't have the self-confidence that I needed to be who I am. And so that left me at a disadvantage as far as living my life with those three principles of passion, pleasure, and purpose. Living my life really fully embodied in who I am. I had to resolve those issues within myself. So when you think of divine masculine, right? What are masculine qualities? Masculine qualities are, disciplined, self-confident, a protective energy, living their life with purpose, taking action, very action oriented, very logical, very strategic. Those are masculine qualities, right? So what's a wounded masculine? Wounded masculine would be somebody that's operating off of low self-esteem, unable to make a decision, always having their mind kind of like that, what is that, analysis paralysis, overthinking and never taking action. And not really finding what their purpose is. Like, they'll just find a job and just do the job and just go through the stages of life and not really able to set goals and accomplish them. So those are some of the aspects of a wounded man. I can go on and on about what each one is, but you get the idea. Like, whatever that is for you, within you, like, what is positive masculine traits as far as what's negative masculine traits. And we all have those different, our own kind of experiences with that. So today what we're going to do is we are going to focus on one of the fundamental things that a man needs, and that is self-confidence. And I had written a blog about this a while ago called The Heart of a Man. And I was talking about how, as little boys, they're told they're not allowed to cry. They're not allowed to show emotion. Right? So that little boy is getting that message, disconnects them from their emotions, where they detach from that and they kind of stuff everything down. And little boys will act out because they don't understand that doesn't feel good energetically. And other boys will shut down and they kind of just go through life not really connecting with their heart. They'll do things and not really fully understand why they're doing the things they're doing, because they don't really They were never taught how to express their feelings, express their emotions, put those things into words. They weren't taught those things. They were told to suck it up, right? They were told to toughen up. So they don't have that, and that's a skill that they have to develop. And when they develop that skill, that builds their self-confidence in being able to take action and things like that. So today I'm going to talk about, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a mantra where we're going to call in a divine masculine. So it's called the Bhagavad Gita, and this is known as the Song of the Lord. And so it's an ancient Indian text. It's kind of like the Holy Bible here, where you go to a hotel and they have the Holy Bible in the drawer. So this is what you would find in India. If you stayed in India, this is what would be in everyone's drawer. And so it's an ancient Indian epic tale of a great struggle between two branches of the same family, of a single ruling family. So one branch is taking over this land that's not theirs, and the other group is fighting for the land because the land technically is theirs. So basically it's 700 verses of a conversation. And the conversation is between Lord Krishna, who's the divine masculine that we're going to call in today, and Arjuna. Arjuna is the leader of the army, of one of the armies of the family. And basically what happens is this Bhagavad Gita is the conversation that they have before the battle begins, because Arjuna doesn't want to fight. Because who's he fighting? He's fighting his family. He's fighting his teachers, his elders. He's fighting his cousins and friends. Who wants to do that? This is going to end in death. This is war over land. And so he's really having a hard time fighting. He doesn't want to. And so basically, it's kind of just like all these tales. Lord Krishna represents the supreme soul, and Arjuna represents the individual soul. So that's like us. So this is a battle between us as humans and our higher self, right? Who has the wisdom to give us what we need to find our true purpose. And so it's basically, the battle represents the ethical and moral struggles of what human life really is. It's those head and heart battles, right? That we all have within ourselves. And so when I think of a divine masculine, for me, whenever I've called in a positive divine masculine force, for me, it's always been a warrior. You know, because for me, it was always living in survival, getting through what I needed to get through, being brave enough and courageous enough to take the actions that I needed. And so I've always called in that warrior spirit within myself. And for me, I always think of a divine masculine as that protective force, that willing to fight for the truth, willing to take the action needed, all of that. So this is a great divine masculine to call in when we're working with divine masculine energy. So the Gita, as it's called, is basically a tale which contains a lot of the Indian knowledge, the Vedic knowledge and philosophies. And so in this tale, it's kind of giving those little hints. I'm not going to get into the story, but I'm going to talk about the 5 lessons that Krishna teaches Arjuna to build his self-confidence to actually fight. And so the first one is knowing your true self. This is the first lesson that he learns. And basically, this is the essence, right? The essence of your heart and soul. Who are you at your heart and soul? So when you really get to the essence of who you are, like where you are your home, you are your sanctuary. This is your pure spirit. This is your pure awareness, your inner wisdom. So it's knowing your true self. And basically what Krishna is doing is he's telling him to live from a level of the soul, where your soul, your thoughts, and your speech and your actions embody the essence of who you are, which is fearless, sure of yourself, and courageous in everything that you do. So it's knowing who you are and walking that path, and knowing that as long as you're doing what's right for you, everything will unfold to your favor. The second lesson it teaches is following what your purpose in life is. And that's what he's trying to tell me. He's like, listen, you're a prince. You have to fight. This is your land. You have a duty here. And basically what he's saying is you have to live your dharma. So dharma is what your life purpose is. And we all have our own individual journey. We all have our own dharma of what our purpose here is in the entire collective. Like we're all a piece of a bigger collective. So it's what is your dharma? And as you gain knowledge, you understand what the negative forces are that are gripping your mind. And then that internal battle that we always have basically is calling out your own ignorance, right? So we all have that, right? These overthinking things that we do. And then once you gain more knowledge, like I did, I never realized I was operating in a wounded masculine until I started doing that work and gaining more knowledge, and then calling myself out and saying, hey, this doesn't serve you. What are you doing? And I had to heal those things within me. And that really was me healing my relationship with my father. And that's me healing my relationship with my husband. That's me healing my relationship with my brother, because all the men in my life, I was operating off of that wounded masculine aspect. And so by owning myself, it gave them the power to own who they were and for them to rise up and be who they are meant to be in this situation, which is it's tough at first, but it's a beautiful healing unfolding as you gain more knowledge and start taking those steps. So it's knowing your true self and following your purpose in life. Then the third one is taking action. So non-action basically is what causes self-doubt, worry, anxiety. It's that mental turbulence. It's the compulsive overthinking. It's the analysis paralysis. We all do it, right? So when you take action, where you're accomplishing your goals, you find two things. Either you find fulfillment, like you set a goal and you follow through with it, or you fail at it and then you kind of learn from the experience, right? So it's a win-win either way, because by you taking action, it's just helping you to gain experience to do better the next time, right? So this teaches you to own the consequences, take responsibility. I'm going to take this action, whatever the consequences are, whatever the outcome is, I'm going to take responsibility for my part in it. So this is not worrying about the outcome, just taking action is the important part. And the more you act, the more comfortable you become, the more confidence you grow, and the more you're able to operate more towards the other aspects of owning your dharma, your purpose, and stuff like that. The fourth lesson that he teaches him is building experience. So this is basically the fundamental key to building your self-confidence. So when you take regular dedicated action, right, where you're practicing something. So like for me, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, right? So I was taking instruction and I would practice it, right? I learned a new skill set. I didn't know what emotional intelligence was. I didn't know what those steps were that I needed to take to get where I wanted to get to. So I practiced it, and whatever the outcome was, I thought about it, reflected on it. I took another step. It's baby steps. You're not supposed to change overnight, but by taking the steps, you kind of build experience, right? So your effort really never goes to waste. And when you take action, you build a surplus of experiences, and then this helps your skills grow, right? So then you become more capable, you develop the know-how and the understanding to navigate whatever your activities are, and you navigate that with skill and ease, right? Because regular practice builds your skill set. And then finally, he teaches him about meditation. And that's really where you're taking that self-reflective pause to gain that inner wisdom. And the more you practice meditation, you're quieting those voices of doubt. You're quieting those voices of self-criticism, all of that. Those voices that are negative and constantly eating at you get a little quieter and eventually diminish. And then you start to take regular and consistent action, contact with your inner soul, with who you are, the essence of who you are. And then you start to experience self-confidence, because that becomes your grounded state, where it doesn't matter what the outcome is in any action you take. You're not doing things, you're not fulfilling your purpose to gain a reward. I think a lot of times we suffer because we expect there to be an outcome. We expect there to be a reward. We expect there to be that. But it's like, no, you're just fighting for what's right. You're doing what's right for you. You're not doing it. So you're not worried about what the outcome is, whether it's success or failure. You're just living your life. You're just being present in what your purpose is and what you have to offer in service to your environment. And the outcome doesn't matter. What matters is the experience that you build within yourself and building your self-confidence, that you know that at any point in time, your self-confidence is your grounded state now. So you're not above or below anyone else. You're not worried about whether you're going to succeed or fail. You just know that you're always doing what's the most right thing for you. And that's what's right for you is right for everyone else. So it's building that up as well. So you're really, he says, you don't survive the world by playing small and living on the sidelines. You have to arise with a brave heart and fight for knowledge. So it's all about really becoming more and more in tune of knowing yourself better. So for example, like if you get, for me, like when I get triggered, I'm like, this looks familiar, because now I'm much more aware. This is familiar. And I observe it. And then I take the step that I need to take to ease it or blow shit up, depending on what the situation is. But I know that either way, I'm taking responsibilities, regardless of the consequences. And I'm taking responsibility and owning it, right? So that's building your self-confidence. When you're confident in who you are, the outcome doesn't matter, because you know that no matter what the outcome is, it's always, no matter what, in your favor. And when you are acting true to yourself, you're enabling anybody else to work in their power as well. Because when they see that you're taking action and you're standing true to who you are, it forces them to take action and take responsibility in who they are. And you'll see that they'll have a hard time, especially if you've been in a relationship where you've been enabling their bad behavior, and now you're not doing that anymore. Now you're setting boundaries. Now you're really living your truth. Now you know what you want. Then that person has to navigate that for themselves, of where they're going to stand in your relationship. And this is how we either gain and lose people in our lives, right? But we know that the people that kind of move on, we're meant to move on, and it's okay. And we don't, once we know who we are, we're not really dwelling on them as a loss. We're just saying they were an experience, and we're okay with that, and we're able to live that way. So anyway, that's a little snippet of of that. If you ever get to read it, I haven't read it yet because I have to be like in the right mind state, but I've read verses of it because I took classes on it, but I never read the full text. But I have taken quite a few classes that dealt with that. But I think that there's a lot of lessons in that, and really it is a good, because Lord Krishna is really just giving Arjuna his own inner wisdom, where he's working through all the doubts and able to fight for what's the most right thing for everybody involved. And he was doing that by connecting with who he was. So today, when we are doing our meditation, our mantra today is going to be Om Krishna Namaha. And basically what that's doing is bringing in that divine masculine, and we're calling him in so that he can help us really connect with the masculine aspect within us and really help our inner masculine to step into what our purpose is. So we all have those divine feminine actions. So our feminine aspect really is that creative force, and that masculine aspect is the one that takes action. And so together we're able to live true in who we are by having both of those aspects of ourselves balanced out. So Krishna, really, by doing this mantra, we're calling him in. And this, it's funny because I look back at one of my old meditation teachers, and she was saying, she was clairvoyant. So she would get visions, And she's like, I have this Japanese warrior here and I don't know why. Like she would see people around you. And she's like, and at first I didn't know why, because he was following me around for like a week now. And she realized that she was calling in this war, like her soul was calling in, this warrior. I forget who he was. I know it was like some Japanese warrior. I can't think of the name right now, but she was just like, yeah, he's been following me around. And she knew that she was changing her business and she had to up her prices, but she didn't have the confidence to up her prices. She was self-conscious of it. And she felt like it was going to turn people away by upping her prices. And that warrior spirit was like, no, you have to own who you are. You have to up your prices because this is what you're worth. Like, you deserve this and people will pay. Like, you don't have to worry about it. And so these were the messages that he was sending her to kind of have that bravery and that courage to change all her prices and up them and live true to what she was worth and her value. And that, that exchange of money and stuff like that she deserved it. And so, but at first she wasn't quite sure why he was showing up for her. So I always find that funny, but I always think about doing a mantra like this helps you to call in whatever spirit it is that you need to call in. And when you call in these different, it's like calling Jesus, like, Lord Jesus, come right now and help me fight through this. It's like whoever you need to call in right now to get through this, you call them in and they're there to help you navigate and connect with who you are in here. So we're going to say Om Krishna Namaha. So Om is the universal sound of creation. So we're calling in the cosmos, and then we're calling in Lord Krishna. And then Namaha is basically the sound that represents the self. It's us. So it's the expression within ourselves in the infinite aspect of creation. And it's basically helping us to open up to the possibilities of what's out there for us, where we're not stuck on what's in our head, but opening us up to that infinite possibilities of really connecting with who we are, and then just putting that idea out there into the unmanifested field and allowing it to come to us, allowing it to flow to us. So that's basically what the mantra is helping you do. So we're going to get into our meditation now, and I will stop talking. So get into a comfortable spot. And we're going to go through our soul questions. So if you're sitting or lying down, that's fine. Just get into a comfortable spot where your head, neck, and spine are aligned. Take a few deep breaths to connect into your body. And we're going to take this journey calling in the divine masculine, the warrior spirit. And you can say this out loud or in your head. It doesn't matter. Just do what's comfortable for you. Take a couple of more deep breaths. So we're activating our nervous system to get into a deep state of relaxation, so we can open up our heart and our mind and our spirit and be fully present in this moment. And we're going to start with our first 4 soul questions. So as I say these questions, just repeat them in your mind and then allow your thoughts to just drift. Just stay observant. Just allow them to flow in and out like clouds. Just see what shows up for yourself. Don't attach to anything or spiral into a story. Just allow it to show up and then let it go. Ask yourself, who am I? What do I want? What is my purpose? What am I grateful for? Now I want you to say your name. I want you to say I am and your first name and last name. And again, let whatever images, thoughts, sensations show up, just stay observant to what shows up for you. So I want you to say it over and over again in your mind. I am and your first name and last name. Now I want you to say I am and just your first name. Drop your last name. Say it over and over. And now I want you to drop your name completely and over again say I am. Say it with confidence. Say it boldly, bravely, courageously. Knowing who you are at the essence of your soul, your spirit, your higher self. That you're fully embracing who you are, your inner wisdom, your grace. And we're taking this moment to build our confidence. Knowing who we are at the heart and soul of our essence, of our being, that we are our own sanctuary. We are our own home. That at the end of the day, we know that we have our own back. Now we're going to begin our mantra. You can start, if you want, to start saying it out loud with me. And then we will go quieter, and then we will go silent, saying it in our mind. Our mantra is Om Krishna Namaha. 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 Now we're going to continue to say it a little quieter. Om Krishna Namaha. 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 And now you're going to continue saying it in your mind without moving your mouth. When you breathe in, say Om. And as you breathe out, think Krishna Namaha, connecting the mantra to your breath, almost like a wave crashing onto itself, just fully embracing the energy. As we breathe in Om, we're breathing in all the energy of the cosmos, all universal intelligence. We're bringing it into our being. As we exhale Krishna Namaha, we are calling in the essence of Krishna and allowing that to shower through us like a wave folding upon itself. Allowing him to show us the essence of who we are, so we are walking confidently and bravely through life, true to our being, true to ourselves. We'll continue saying this a little longer in silence. Now release the mantra, and I just want you to envision yourself as a warrior and see how that shows up for you. Who are you? Bold, beautiful, majestic, confident, powerful. Embrace that magnificence. You're self-assured, You know who you are. You embrace your actions. You move forward knowing in your heart of hearts what's right. You're able to slay within yourself all the doubts, the fears, the worries, and knowing that that is not a useful use of your imagination. That you can use the creative force within you to think of the possibilities and allow those to unfold, allow those to come to you. That every day you are setting yourself up to succeed. You're bold, you're brave, you're beautiful. You are empowered and sovereign. You know that you are not above or below anyone else. You are just grounded in who you are. You embrace yourself. And you move forward. You're not living life on the sidelines. You're living. Your presence is important. Just your presence alone has a purpose. And you are exactly where you need to be. You're living your life gracefully and with gratitude for all the experiences that you know that life is all about the journey, not the destination. And that the battles that you need to win in life are in you, not outside of yourself. The truth does not need to be defended. Take a couple of deep breaths, bringing yourself back into this bold warrior self, feeling fully confident, knowing that you are on the path to discovering yourself. Allow yourself to move for a few minutes. Bring your hands to your heart and bow in gratitude for giving yourself this moment of connection, both in the group and within. And that you will use the knowledge today for self-reflection and in what those messages mean for you. And that you will be able to connect with the divine masculine within you to help you to take the actions that you need to in life. And that the divine masculine in you embraces the divine feminine and knows that the divine feminine in you is there creating beautiful experiences, beautiful connections, and you're living your life fully embraced in who you are. Namaste. So for me, I always bring in that warrior spirit whenever I'm triggered. Because I know that the true battle lies within myself and how I'm going to deal with whatever the situation is before me.